What up, guys? It's your boy, Big Will, Minute. This is a Game of Thrones video, and if you don't want to know anything about the final episode, spoiler, don't watch this video. Because I'm going to watch a video of a person explaining the leaks. And the reason I'm doing this, primarily, is hoping that it's wrong. But I want it out there and my reactions on it. So if it's not wrong, like episodes 4 and 5, because they leaked 4, 5, and 6, the plots, and they were pretty spot on. So we're all assuming that the leaks from 6 are spot on too. So I already know. I went into 5. I didn't read the one for 4 because I didn't find out about it until after 4. So I went into episode 5 already knowing what the leaks were. And I still watched the episode, and of course it was the worst episode for me out of all of them. I don't know if the leaks played a part in that because I already knew. So I was already thinking they better not do what these leaks said they're going to do. But I was also went into it thinking that depends on how they do it. Because some of the things that were done or that said they were going to be done in the leaks, I wanted to see, because it's things that we all wanted to see, some things that we've been waiting for 7 seasons. But I just wanted to see how they played out. It's this episode that's going to do some things that I'm like, no, please don't do that, because it will suck. But my faith meter is not very high. Consider how spot on they've been on 4 and 5. And the guy doing this video from channel is Buzz Talks. I don't know if that's who it is or if they just posted it from somebody. I'll post the original video in the description box. But yeah, so let me stop talking. Let's just hear what he has to say, and we'll talk about it. I'll probably pause it, in between some of it, and get my views on it. But yeah, that's why I'm doing this, because I want it to be wrong. But then again, if it's not wrong, I got this out there to where then when I do my review of the final episode, kind of compare and see if I'm still as angry, still upset, as disappointed, knowing that I already knew. So let's get it.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Max with Buzz Talks here, and I'm back with another Game of Thrones video. And this video is a little different because I want to address some of the leaks that have come out regarding the last episode of Game of Thrones. I want to go through the leaks, check their validity, and just overall see how they are. So before I get started, I want to issue a huge potential spoiler warning. If you don't want to know anything about what could potentially happen in the last episode of Game of Thrones, leave this video right now. I'm going to be putting out other content that doesn't deal with these leaks. But with that said, let's get into the potential leaks. And first of all, I want to look at the validity of these leaks before we dive into what they are. And that really starts with Season 7. Season 7 was completely spoiled by a plot leak. And it detailed every key plot point in big detail. And it seems like the same thing is happening this season.
Now that I didn't know. Hit the pause and message you guys. Let me know in the comment section and I want to do it. Also hit the like button. Hit the like button. Now that I didn't know. I didn't know that Season 7 was totally leaked because of a plot point. Which I think... What happened in Season 7? We already knew that... Well, I guess the whole Dany and Jon being related, but everybody saw that coming. If you read the books, you knew that Jon was a Targaryen. I mean, that was hinted to so many times. Because I'm just now starting to read the books, And between the first 2 books, they've alluded to him being that way so many times, it's ridiculous. Let's get it.
Plot leaks have come out and they've been proven right episode by episode, and now we're left with just one more episode, so it makes these leaks look very valid. But one thing I will say is HBO and the producers of the show recorded multiple endings and maybe written multiple endings to try and make sure that spoilers don't happen.
That is what I was saying. I hope it's true. I hope that, but you would think they would have did that for 4 and 5. They were spot on. He's going to say it. They were spot on. I've already watched this. They were spot on. But I'm hoping that for the final one, I hope they did multiples. And if they did, I hope those get released. I mean, I'm probably not. I guess I'll buy the. If they do, I'll buy the box set or something. If they did multiple endings, oh my God, I hope that's so true. Cause I got a feeling this is gonna be. Woo.
So playing devil's advocate, it is possible that we're getting one ending out of many, and it could be misleading. But to be honest, everything in this plot leak seems to be right. It makes sense in many aspects, so I have no question to really doubt this leak. Because it got right what happened in episode 4 and 5. They knew Daenerys would be attacked by Euron Greyjoy's fleet, that he would kill Rhaegal and take Missandei hostage. They also knew that Cersei would kill Missandei. On top of that, they got right Varys' plotline. How Sansa told Tyrion about Jon being a Targaryen, and Tyrion told Varys, and then Varys tried to betray Daenerys, and then she killed him. They got Jaime's storyline right, where he betrays the North. Brienne convinces him to stay, and he leaves and gets captured by Daenerys. And then they got everything right for episode 5. Tyrion convinced Daenerys to show mercy, and she didn't. She assaulted King's Landing, and basically burned everything to the ground. The plot leak also said that Tyrion would free Jaime to rescue Cersei, that they would die in rubble, that the Hound fights his brother, and they both die fighting to the death, that Jaime ends up fighting Euron and gets mortally wounded, and the episode would end with King's Landing being basically rubble. So up to this point, everything about the plot leak has been right.
Up to this point, everything about the plot leak has been right. You saw what he just said. And no, I read those leaks. I mean, he's paraphrasing, you know, but that's pretty much what the leaks say. What he's saying, they hit on points. They hit on high points that are going to happen throughout the episode. And like you saying, it's not like they were alluding or, you know, they were spot on with the things. You know, Jaime's going to be mortally wounded. They didn't tell us how Cersei and Jaime would die, you know, being buried in rubble or nothing like that. But, you know, Tyrion freeing Jaime, you know, Varys getting burned alive pretty much at the beginning of the episode. You know, things like that. And they were happening like, I mean, so they've been spot on. So, you'll see.
And these are the key points that they're saying will happen next episode. For one, they're saying Daenerys will have Tyrion arrested for freeing Jaime. And this plot point, I don't see any reason to doubt at all. It was foreshadowed last episode, when Daenerys told Tyrion that this is the last time that she will fail him.
The next time you fail me will be the last time you fail me.
And Tyrion clearly did fail her. And I think Tyrion will go through a lot in this episode, because he now disagrees with everything.
Did he fail though? Really? I mean, he let Jaime go, but it's not like it affected the battle. I mean, they were so overpowered, they destroyed King's Landing. What did Tyrion do? He said, they ring the bells, we should stop. She chose to ignore him, so he didn't fail there. Actually, what he thought would happen would happen. They would overpower them, destroy the city, and they would realize the folly of their ways and ring the bell. And that's what happened. So, whatever.
Thing that Daenerys has done. Everything that he's counseled her not to do. She's become the tyrant that she was trying to destroy. And I'm sure at this point, Tyrion doesn't want to support Daenerys. So in the plot leak, it also says that Tyrion will try and convince Jon that his family will never be safe, because his lineage makes him a threat to Daenerys' rule. And this is also a very common plot point that makes sense. Daenerys is upset with Jon because she feels that Jon betrayed her. On top of that, she also knows that Jon has the love of the people, something at this point she will never have. We saw her last episode choose that she is going to rule by fear. That's the only way she can successfully rule the Seven Kingdoms. And at this point, Daenerys has many of her council that have betrayed her. And in her mind, that also includes Jon. So Daenerys wanting to deal with Jon makes sense. He's her biggest adversary when it comes to claiming the throne, and he also betrayed her. So it makes sense that Jon's life would be at stake. But then it goes into Jon's story. It says that Jon tries to talk to Daenerys, and she justifies her actions. And this has been built up over the last couple episodes. We've seen Daenerys get more and more deluded.
That's gonna be a hard scene to watch. I got a feeling she's gonna come out. Come out looking like a crazy lady when she tries to explain why she did what she did. She's gonna look crazy and sadistic, and it's gonna be crazy seeing her try to justify Because he's probably going to say, but what about the women and children and the innocents? They all must burn if they can't. She going to do some monologue and she going to sound straight just like a psychopath.
Delusional. The fact that she's here to rid the world of tyrants. And her doing whatever is necessary to achieve that, to her, in her mind, is justified. So I think this episode, and based on the preview trailer of the episode, we're going to see Daenerys in a different light in this episode. It's going to be a stark contrast to the world that she wanted to build. And now that Daenerys has taken the throne, she's going to do everything she can to keep it. She's going to justify her actions. She's going to turn against the people who betrayed her.
She's going to be Cersei
But then
with
after
dragons.
all that, we'll see the fall of Daenerys. It says here that Jon will pledge himself to Daenerys. But then he'll stab her. And personally, I love this plotline. It makes sense. It should not be Arya
Jon
to kill
killing
Daenerys. It should be
Daenerys.
Jon. These characters have built up a relationship and a respect for each other. But more importantly, I like what it means for Jon's character. The cornerstone of Jon's character is his honor. He prides himself on his honor. He does whatever it takes to do what is right. His word means everything to him, and he will betray that word. He will pledge himself to Daenerys only to kill her.
He's the new
So
Ned.
Jon not only betrayed Daenerys, he betrayed himself and everything he stood for. And that sounds like a prophecy Melisandre has said in the...
What? YouTube
past.
ad.
I have
Sorry.
seen myself walk along the battlements of Winterfell. I have seen the flayed man banners lowered to the ground. But sometimes sacrifices must be made to ensure victory.
This war has just begun. It will last for years. Thousands will die at your command. You will betray the man serving you.
Sandy has been right,
You will betray your family.
but they haven't really
You will betray everything
been
you
staying
once
true to the
loved.
prophecies, though, in the show.
And it will all be worth it.
A couple of them, they
Because
kind of just
You are the son
negated.
of fire. You are the warrior of light. You will sweep aside this pretender and that one.
got one episode to get it all right, though.
You will be king.
Jon betrayed everything he held dear because he supported Daenerys as his queen. That resulted in him in some aspects betraying his family. And then it pushed him to the point to betraying the one that he loves, and he had to betray himself to do that. So it says after Jon kills Daenerys, he's going to surrender himself. And that sounds like something Jon would do. He'll probably be beside himself for betraying himself and Daenerys,
He's
and
the
he
new
will
Ned.
feel like he needs to pay the consequences for it. But then after that, a council gets formed, and they're trying to decide who the new king should be. Jon at this point has renounced it. He doesn't want it, and he's surrendered himself. It says here that Tyrion gives a speech and everyone votes on Bran Stark becoming king, and that's the end. And this is the one aspect I hope doesn't happen.
Me too.
Spending 8 seasons watching a show called The Game of Thrones to
Bran.
watch a secondary character who's been misused for the last 2 seasons isn't the most satisfying ending, especially since this character hasn't even been in all of the seasons.
Bran has said he didn't even want to be the Lord of Winterfell because he's above all that. He's on a different plane. He's the three-eyed raven. If he didn't want to be Lord of Winterfell, why the hell would he accept to be the king? If they do go that route, that's going to be interesting to see how they talk him into doing that. Maybe he foresees some stuff still going on with the White Walkers and that he needs to be on the throne to stop it from happening. I don't know. I don't see why he would not want to be the Lord of Winterfell because he's not Bran Stark anymore. He's a three-eyed raven. But yet he would choose to sit on the Iron Throne.
On top of that, I don't like what Bran being king represents. I love the idea of them breaking the wheel, having a new leader and building a new world. And I guess a part of that comes with Bran, electing him to be king, more of a democracy. But Bran has made it clear that he could never rule, and he's not a king. He mostly lives in the past. And I understand that living in the past lets you learn to build a better future. I just think Bran would be better utilized as a council member, and not a king. Because he's not a king and there's never been any plot to suggest that he's been a king. So I think a lot of people will be very upset about that. I know I am. And then that takes us into the epilogue. It'll probably flash to a couple months or a year in the future. It says that Jon will take the black for killing Daenerys. And I don't know how I feel about this. The Night King in this show has been defeated. So I feel like taking the black at this point is pretty much useless. And I honestly would have liked a better end to Jon Snow. In my opinion, he's a character that would have been the perfect king. His whole 8 seasons has been him bringing people together.
Yeah.
And that's something that
Show's all
Westeros
about
needs
Jon.
at this point.
Why ain't Jon
And I
sitting on
get
the
that
throne?
Jon would, I guess, want to take the black to punish himself for his actions, but this is also very selfish of him. It would be stupid for Jon to take the black, when he could either go north of the Wall with Tormund and live out his days happy,
Be a
or
new
he
man
could stay
traitor.
in King's Landing and be king, because I feel like that aligns more with Jon's character. And that's the tragedy of Jon Snow, is that his life is always other people's. He comes in to fix everyone's mistakes at the sacrifice of his own enjoyment and his own life. I feel like Jon as a character would take the throne as honor, because it's demanded of him and the people want him. So him taking the
Exactly.
black, I think, is very disappointing.
Ned thing
But
to
then you
do.
have Arya, and they only say that she leaves. And if Arya survives this episode, that makes sense. Arya said, "What is west of Westeros?" She's not
I
a
don't think
lady,
Arya's
and
gonna
she's clearly a
survive.
character that would want to explore and live her life on her terms. It also says that Sansa will rule the North, and that makes sense. She's always had their best
Team
interests.
Sansa.
And that's Sansa's overall story arc. She was obsessed with the life in King's Landing, and then she realized what she lost. You know, her family, the North. And she's come full circle to be queen of it. So I like the end of Sansa's story. But then we go to King's Landing, and Bran oversees
some
his
bullshit.
council of Tyrion, Davos, Sam, and Bronn. And I'm still not happy about Bran.
Tyrion, Davos, Sam, and Bronn. Sam in the Maester position. Davos, I guess he's the hand, maybe. Bronn, maybe if he's like over like the leader of the White Cloaks, maybe. Tyrion and Tyrion. Well, Tyrion's probably the hand. Tyrion's the hand. Would be Bran's hand. Bravos. I guess he can be kind of like the Baelish, Varys type person. You know, kind of looking in the shadows, finding out all the secrets and stuff, because he knows he's a smuggler. Bronn, I guess, the only reason I can see Bronn being there is if he's like the commander of the City Watch, or over the personal guard, the King's Guard, because I think the leader of the King's Guard is on the council. So, Sam, if he's the Maester, only thing I could think of.
Being king, because he's not a leader. Bran should be a part of the council. And maybe he should replace Bronn, because I don't think Bronn should be a part of the council at all. I think the way they treated Bronn in this season was a huge disappointment, and it undermined his character. So if they want to build a better world, why would they have a man like that sitting on the council? Unless they're playing that political game. They gave Bronn Highgarden, and he has a seat on the council. But based on how they treated Bronn in this season, it doesn't make sense for him to sit on the council, because that's not building a better world. So what is the point? So those are the plot leaks that have been released. I have to say I'm a little nervous, mainly just over Jon Snow's story and who will sit on the Iron Throne. I'm really confident Daenerys will die, and the only question is, who will sit on the throne? And that's the Game of Thrones. But I honestly feel like with this ending and Bran being king, it undermines the last 8 seasons of storytelling. The fact that we went through the War of the Five Kings, the fight for the dead, the fight against Cersei, all of this drama, and Daenerys' conquest and takeover of King's Landing, just to have some weird, random, underused, and undervalued character sit the throne doesn't make any sense.
Why
So
you
that's
gotta
my
be weird,
opinion
though?
on these leaks. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. So there that is. There that is. And I gotta say, I agree with him. You know, a lot of that is, it's lackluster. It's like, when you hear that, do you think that's the appropriate way to end the Game of Thrones? Tyrion going on trial. Well, first Dany trying to explain why she's crazy and looking like a goddamn sociopath. That's what I think the episode's gonna go, from what he's saying. Jon trying to talk some sense into it. Everybody trying to figure out why. First of all, she's gonna relish in her victory over this destroyed city that I guess is now hers. She's triumphant now, and now people are gonna be asking her, what the hell? She gonna be mad at Tyrion and try to put him on trial. So we got to see how that ends up, because apparently if Tyrion ends up the hand and part of Bran's canceled, then she doesn't kill him. So apparently, maybe Jon kills her before she gets a chance to destroy Tyrion with a dragon, burn him alive. You know, and then once he kills Dany, what happens to Drogon, the dragon? Is he gonna? He kills Dany. Does he turn around and be like? "Rrr," then Jon's like, I'm a Targaryen too. Sit your butt down. I don't know. It's gonna Bran sitting on the Iron Throne. That right there is what's gonna cause it. I mean, internet's already exploded over the last 2 episodes, but that right there. Can you say Lost? The most disappointing ending in television history is about to be surpassed by the Game of Thrones. So there you go, guys. Well, I may post the original video in the description box. Depends on when I upload this, if I remember to do it or not. Because I'm going to record a bunch of videos while I can this morning, and then put them all out later on. And if I remember that this one needs an original attached to it, I'll go back and do it. But there you go. We're 2 days away from the finale, and I just wanted to put this out there. Everybody has probably already heard of the leaks, but for those who didn't, and are kind of already so upset with the show that they don't care if they get spoiled, that's why I made this. That's how I was. I was already had a kind of a bad taste in my mouth, you know, after 5. So I was like, well, leak going into 5. I was like, and the leaks have been out, and I've been avoiding them. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna look, because I was like, surely, if these leaks are out, it's just some bull. It's not gonna be what they really are, you know. But it was verbatim. It was exact. Season 5. What I read. I was like, wow, everything I read happened in that damn episode. So, hopefully this isn't the same. Surely I hope not. But, more than likely, it probably will. Like I said, hit that like button. Hit the comment section. Let's talk. Let's discuss. Let's argue. Let's fight. And then let's make up with love. Peace, hair grease, follow my social media, and everything like that. Deuces.